Carrick Grammar has always played a very big part in my and my family's lives, and I came to Carrick Grammar as a pupil in 1967. I guess it was the first year that the school had a sixth form. My brother was in that sixth form. School uniform, gym frock, blue checked summer dresses, which always looked really nice. But PE was a cause of great distress to the girls in school. No tracksuits, no fleeces. Our PE uniform was navy knickers and red polo shirts. So it was a scramble among the girls to get into the gym as quickly as possible without being seen. I have really fond memories of Mr. Granger. He was a very kind man. He was everyone's granddad figure, although you wouldn't have crossed him. We all had great respect for him, as we did for the staff in the school, who were fantastic.
When I joined Carrick Grammar, it was in 1973, along with Kenneth Irwin and Marcella Lively. And at that time the school was expanding pretty rapidly. So an awful lot of the staff were accommodated in mobiles rather than inside school. And you know, that was great at that time, provided the weather was good. I loved my mobile. It was like a home from home in many ways, and you had your own independence, much more so than you would have had you been in the school building. And there was a great camaraderie, sort of village feeling about it all.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
As a pupil here, I suppose it was during the worst times of the Troubles, or some of them. I can remember 1971, a bomb going off. I was in Maths with Mrs. Wright at the time. At the front of the school, the windows started to shutter. So it had been a bomb in North Street, where my aunt had a bakery. My mum worked there. And I can remember Mr. Granger coming to get me out of class to assure me everyone was okay. So you were dealing with things like that, but it didn't seem to affect having fun at school.
I suppose it was like a country school. I felt it very much a community of people that were here. Mainly no one travelled, and I came from Colinchie at the time, so that was unheard of. I don't even know if there were any teachers that came from Belfast at that time. So it really was a local school, more of a farming feel to this school, but there was a lovely feeling of family in it.
I'd like to tell you about what happened to my mobile in the late 70s. It was a Monday morning. I remember it quite well. I'd arrived at school full of the joys of teaching and looking forward to the challenging week ahead, just like every other member of staff, of course. And I was met in the foyer by Audrey Logan. She was a senior teacher at that time, and Audrey was always very sympathetic, but she had a very sympathetic face on that morning. And Anne, she says, there's something has happened to your mobile and I'd like you to see it before the children do. So of course my automatic reaction was to put her around in my pockets to find the key, and I said, Audrey, I can't find my key. And she smiled and said, Anne, you're not going to need your key. So as we went out, she explained, but nothing prepared me for the sight that met my eyes. There just simply was no mobile there. It was all a mass of firewood, splinters, and just complete demolition. And what had happened, of course, was this infamous JCB, and it had rolled down towards the mobiles. It clipped Bob Paisley's, as far as I know, but it just clipped everything in its path and completely flattened mine. And I believe that a policeman was able to stop it before it got onto Northlands. That's the road down there. So it made the BBC News, and Mr. Jemison was photographed in the Belfast Telegraph front page surveying the damage.
My first contact with Carrickfergus Grammar School was in 1973. I applied here and I felt it was a very good chance of getting the job. But unfortunately, the person who did get the job was Kenneth Irwin. When I moved to Carrickfergus in 1976, Mr. Granger interviewed me along with the Board of Governors. I was appointed as a maths teacher.
Well, I started teaching here in 1973. I came as an A-level maths teacher, but I also taught geography and RE. But it's not really the teaching or the things that I remember from the 70s. In those days, it was the producing of school plays, the school trips, the 24-hour stay-awakes. And then, of course, the sixth form parties. There used to be a staff and sixth form party. Those are the things that I remember most.
In the late 70s and early 80s, there were a lot of school parties right up to senior level. Peter Bell came to school shortly after myself, and whether it was because we were in the maths department, but we somehow became responsible for organising and sort of hosting school parties. Earlier on that year there had been the SAS siege at the Iranian embassy, and it was very much in people's minds. So we decided we always based our sort of introduction on a topical theme. What we did, we got onto the roof outside room 36. We had a wee ladder, it got it all organised. We were all decked out in balaclavas in black. We had mathematical instruments strung around our necks. We had the windows in the assembly hall open, and we climbed in above the unsuspecting party goers. The lights were dimmed down, the music started to play, and the ropes had been brought out a little bit, and then we suddenly swung into action and came down the ropes all decked out and told everybody to lie down and so on. And it was a fantastic, to think back that you probably wouldn't be allowed to do it now.
I wish I could have made it more like the movies for you. Some pretty technicolor way. It's never